And good evening. My name is Likuyani Ali. Welcome to the Men's Den. And as always, every Tuesday we get to discuss matters that affect men and the livelihood of men. So tonight is not any different because we are talking of the very, very specific question that will be raised when there is a man, woman, and a child involved. What are we talking about? We are talking about pay up, to pay or not to pay. If you too have children or a child, then you become what is famously known as, or infamously known as, deadbeat. I have one and only Gilbert Makomere. Good evening, sir. How are you doing tonight?
Hey Eli, how are you doing?
Poa sana baba. Wewe unalipa ama ulipi?
Ni kulipa na kulipa. We must pay Eli. There's no second thought about it. We are just supposed to. It's an obligation.
Okay, awesome. It's an obligation. Matasyo Kagwa all the way in Utrecht. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing too. Sema niaje. Vipi
Leo umevaa koti?
Leo nimevaa koti ya baba, lazima tufanyie koti.
Okay.
Alafu ya Kenya paka lazima tukata na flag ya Kenya. Hii issue leo lazima tuivalie.
And why is this important, sir?
Because you always have to pay. Whether it's upkeep, as they grow up, whatever, a father, you will always have to pay. Lazima ulipe. Unawaona waone, lazima ulipe. Wanakupenda, lazima ulipe. Hiyo ni milele, my friend. Ni milele.
Wait, why are you promoting some products that are not being allowed on site? Anyway. James Mwathi, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Ellie, and everyone. African man makes me happy.
Ayo hii ina discussion mara moja.
Okay.
Ellie,
yes.
Deadbeat is a term that I don't know. Has it been misused or what? What does deadbeat mean? Question number one. Question number two. Question number two. All these men here jumping around saying lazima. Is it just words or is it? I think today we'll have a tough show.
Very tough.
These men are very excited.
You know, as you've asked, that's a very great question. And for everybody that is watching, according to the definition that we have from Merriam-Webster, it says a father who owes money to his former wife to help raise their children, but does not pay. But since fathers does not really nowadays confined to a marriage sort of organization, I believe we will extend to those children we talk about being held out of wedlock. And I will request the African man to turn his face so that we can face him and ask him. You have actually in several occasions said you do not subscribe to the thought of baby daddy, baby mommy. This is where the baby daddy and baby mommy comes in, sir. And most of these baby daddies refuse to pay up because, and the only reason they give is, kama sioni mtoto, mimi siwezi lipa. Is that justification, Matasyo?
No. I'll answer your first question. I'm against accepting a problem, then giving it a name, and it becomes comfortable. That's what I'm very against. When I even say, stop this thing of calling people baby daddy. You see, now you're already branding a name, which I don't know if it's positive or negative. I'll tell you one thing. I've known a lot of rich people, millionaires, who for some stupid reason don't want to support their children in any or one other way. So we cannot, that is an issue affecting the whole society. Western society, not whatever. We have all these issues everywhere. And it's not even about paying that money, you see. They're even just things that fathers do, a present on birthday, everything. It's just like they do not not only upkeep. Some people, for example, you can have a child who's over 18. He just wants to be supported in his business. Everything. It's just like they do not. So you will eventually have to really broaden it and say. That's why I say, as a father, you will always be faced with commitments as it pertains to your children. Now, The truth of it now all is, what you all men want to talk about here is when the relationship goes sour. And that's where the big problem is. And some of them, it's not even the mistake of the both parents. You have known sis where people, some families refuse your girlfriend, and then you get a child, they really don't want to have anything to do with it, you understand? So sometimes it is not even the two people. It is maybe the families, the culture, and then also different situations. So as long as we look at it is, if you motivate yourself and, you know, think on a very other level, you will always have to pay the moment you make her pregnant. Always. Until you
End of story.
Always. Watoto mkishamalizana na mama, sasa watoto wenyewe wanakuja sasa yao sasa. That one is another one. So for me, I end it there. And that one, we should call all fathers respectable fathers. First of all, we should put every father on that level of a father. Whether maskini, ujasoma, hauna nini, umeka. No. Tuache kuitana wao sijui Dani Ben10. Wewe kama huna kitu na umepata mwanamke na ni tajiri, wewe si Ben10. Wewe bado ni mwanamume na utakuwa. What you do? You stop calling African men things like baby daddy, things like, I don't know, Ben10, deadbeat father. A father is a father, it's not deadbeat father.
Ellie, who had African man? He's very passionate about this.
And you know, the part that actually makes me laugh loud is when he says, ukipata mwanamke mwenye ako na pesa na wewe hauna, wewe tu ni nini? Mwanaume.
Bado ni mwanaume, si Ben10, my friend.
Okay, fair enough.
Kutana baby daddy ayo ishe. Mwanaume ni mwanaume.
Fair enough. Matasyo, you've said we must pay. From the onset when we realize kuna mtoto in the mix, okay? Yes. James, we have had several cases of women who ask for upkeep money for the children. But wewe umekaa hivi unaona update imekuja, somebody is in Mombasa enjoying your money and you do not see your child in that picture. Would you be motivated to actually pay up, James?
Eddie, this is one of those difficult topics. We might make light of it, but these are topics which are a bit complicated. Why do I say that? And I think personally, I'll answer the question that you first asked at the tail end of the show, because having interacted with a lot of men, every man will tell you that I want to be responsible for my child, whether in wedlock or not, or out of wedlock. All men will want to be involved in their children's upkeep and all that. The question comes, where do tables turn? When do this affair of deadbeat come about? And just off my mind, I can count about 10, again, from just people who we see. And they will tell you, I have tried, I want, I am, the level of expectation is not what I've had people who, they tell me, my wife or ex-wife demands a certain amount, and if I can't get to that amount, they tell me, hiyo pesa yako ya maskini kaa nayo. You know? So there's a lot of dynamics to this question. It's not a simple, would you pay or would you not pay? Again, you bring out something very, very interesting. And again, I always want to look at different cultures and from different perspectives, yeah? Because I ask myself, because even in the gone by days, in our African traditional settings, we had children who were born out of wedlock. How did the community take care of them? Yeah? Because in our African setting, you never had, and today I'll be, this man has won an African Cup and a Kenyan flag, so I have to be on his side. But even in a traditional setting, you never had the term deadbeat. Somehow the community got around and covered shame and made sure that the child was provided for and all that. But today, why are we having that deadbeat? Again, to refer back to shows that we've done previously, and today it seems I'll be a friend to very many of you. Mr. Gilbert tells us that from conception, the minute the child is conceived, you are a parent and you have to play the roles and the responsibilities that come with parenthood. Whether you are serious with this lady or not, that's besides the point. Yeah. So it's and probably as we go along the show, we will look at different scenarios that would make one be termed as deadbeat. Now, the question that I would want to leave us with is, are there deadbeats? And the simple answer is yes. We might run away. We might wish there are no deadbeats. We can talk all we want, but the fact is they are deadbeats.
Wow, the fact is they are deadbeats. And everybody that is joining us tonight, the topic of discussion is deadbeat. Before I bring in Makomere Gilbert, who is getting a lot of accolades thanks to we are borrowing a lot from his knowledge. And we have who is this number one on the comment section is Sarah Njonjo, who says, "Men's Den, hello gentlemen." Hello to you, Sarah. How are you doing tonight? We have Godwin Segero watching us live on YouTube, who says, "Happy to see the man. I hope we don't have a deadbeat on set."
We might have to define first. We might have to define what a deadbeat means.
Well, we actually did define that. We actually did
That's
define
according
that,
to the dictionary.
Okay,
that's
fine.
according to the dictionary.
According to our environment, we need to get to discuss that. And we have Princess Wikesa who says, watching. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And Eshuchi tonight could not make it on set, but he's actually in the comment section. He says, coming up with the names, negative or positive, then getting comfortable with it. Touch. Touche. Sorry, that's French for touche. I almost became a pastor saying touch. African is handling this very personally. The African
I told you guys.
And when he goes ahead,
he will tell us more.
Whoever hurt African man should apologize with immediate effect. Norina Leokota anasema Matasyo. Okay, great. We have Mambo. That is Obira Ogwadi asema Mambo presenter Tina. Thank you so much. We are multi-streaming on four pages, so you could be watching from 8 of us. So thank you so much for joining the conversation. We have Kipro Roda who says Atin Hadmenzen. Hi. Why say the person is enjoying your money? How do you know that the person is not earning her own money? Question. Tough one. Nancy says she's watching. Thank you so much, Nancy, and welcome to the Men's Den. Freedom Guku, on the other hand, says, yes. The moment a child is conceived, you are a dad. You are responsible for that kid just as much as the mother. Okay, awesome. Naona Frida amekuja na ubaya tena. Iwe only have one definition of a deadbeat: a man who has a baby somewhere but doesn't give that about it. Okay. Some words I cannot pronounce them. So I'm doing that kind of effect here. Opoka Arab Oto, thank you so much, who says lots of deadbeat moms who go and get pregnant. Oh, Leo. Okay. Man, this is changing the conversation right there. A lot of deadbeat moms who go and get pregnant to trap a man who only wanted. Okay. I keep seeing different things, but then again, it is their opinion and they are entitled to it. Okay, we're past. They wanted sex for pleasure. So sex is becoming some sort of activity. Unajipa tu raha. Unajipa Mombasa raha and you move on like nothing ever happened. We have Godi Segero who says, Men's Den, African man, umesema pesa twende nayo. And Edwin Dan says, I'm getting you live. Thank you so much and welcome to the show. Gilbert, you've been a good boy since we started this conversation because you've been silent and listening. This is your moment of glory. Do shine, brother. Do shine.
Deadbeat or no deadbeat, Ellie. We have to differentiate between child support and custody. The two are separate. That kid never applied to be sired. It took two people to guard the kid. For me, I don't say paying. For me, I refer it as child support, because when you put it in terms of pain, we just look at the monetary. That should not be the motivation. We have different ways of support. And that's why, to me, I'll find it hard for someone to deny someone to either see, interact, or get to be involved in their child's life, not unless the security of that kid is not assured. Those are some of the terms we look at when you are filing for custody. General, that's a general rule, not unless the security of the kid is not assured. But every parent has a right to their kids. The problem now comes when you are given a right and you don't want to participate. That's where the dead comes in. I don't know where the beat is, but I know that's where the dead comes in. And when you are given a right to participate and you're running away, you don't have an obligation of paging support on custody. Whether you are there physically or not, support is a must in all ways. It might be restricted based on other people, but the reality is you must. You don't have an option. It's an obligation. To me, I say it's an obligation to offer support to your kid because they need it. Because here we have to take care of these kids who emotionally feel broken, because they are needing you as a parent, as a father or a mother in their life. To me, I'm approaching it always because someone has said they're also deadbeat moms. That is a reality nowadays. So you can be denied from both sides, but it doesn't mean that you're not supposed to support. And support should not be quantified. Now, that's where the problem comes, that someone wants to go to court and say, the rent will be this much. This will be this much. I need a car to be carrying this kid to school day in, day out. While even wewe mwenyewe unachapa hii.
Ellie, if I may, and in fact, Gilbert has just touched a point that a question I wanted to throw to him, because, and that's why I said this term deadbeat is used very loosely, because when the mother quantifies the kind of support that she wants, and if you do not match up, she perceives that you're not good enough and she does not want your support. Do we term this man as deadbeat still? When you're told you can keep your 2 cents. And especially remember, unfortunately, when relationships go south, as the adults, we fail to rise to the occasion and understand that there is a child somewhere who might not know even what the difference between the two of you is. And we want to fight each other using the child, and the child ends up being the one who suffers. So, and there's a case of a prominent family that one of the sons to that prominent family, they separated with the wife, and the wife went to court, and she wanted millions, because according to the family stature, they could afford. But then again, that was the family stature, not this guy's capability. And the court listened to that thing, and the guy was saying, I am supported by my family. I depend on what they give me. So while we might have billions, maybe in 1 month I'm given 10,000, the next month I'm not given. So how can you say, like Gilbert is saying, school will be 600,000 pounds a term, and this kid will go for holiday in Europe, and the poor guy is to support? And if he's not able to, we term him as deadbeat? Really? That's why I was saying that we need to first define what this deadbeat is. Because again, we believe that man is born inherently good, but it does not take away the fact that there are some evil people out there, both men and women. I'm not specific to any gender, but there are some evil people out there. And that's why I started this show by saying, if you ask any man, they will tell you, it is my role, it is my duty, I should support, I should. But what goes south? Because along the way, for some people, it goes south.
Mhm.
And if it goes south, is it always the role of the man? Because again, and again, I like the direction that our judicial system is taking. Because again, recently there was a ruling that both father and mother have equal responsibility, and whoever earns more pays more, or takes the bigger responsibility. And like previously, when we thought it is always the man who should be the sole provider.
Yeah, James, that's one thing. Ellie, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, I just wanted to take a quick one before we can get to the next segment, because I want to equally involve our audience that are watching and trying to follow through the conversation. Remember, you're watching The Man's Den, coming to you every single Tuesday right here on the Arts in Heart on Facebook and YouTube. And starting the month of November, we will be changing the way we do things, because we'll be transferring all our live casts to our YouTube channel. So get there. If you do not know the channel's name, that is The Arts in Heart on Facebook. As you can see right down on the ticker, that is on Facebook, The Arts in Heart, Instagram, The Arts in Heart _ rather the arts _ in heart. And somebody just did something there that is not supposed to be there, but the YouTube is The Arts in Heart official. So get there, subscribe, and turn on the notification tone bell. And then once that tone gets on, you can always get the notification that we took a live. So guys, let's take a quick one. But as we take this break, we are going to review what the audience are saying. So let's take a look.
There is at no point where a child can just come to the world through only one person. There must be two persons, and sometimes due to some conditions you can be blocked because maybe you acted violent at some point, or maybe there's some point where it's allowed for you not to see the child for some time. Then to me I say supporting a kid, you support because it's your blood, and it's you are part of that child. So to me, no problem. I can do that.
Yes, the most used word is ameniblock. Ataonea pesa zangu kwake, hatazionea binguni kwa sababu pesa yangu hazioni. Getting blocked on Facebook, WhatsApp, or the other means of communication, does that warrant for you to go MIA by any chance? But before you answer that and come up with that discussion you wanted to have earlier on, let me just get quickly to the comment section and read out what Frida is saying. Frida says, there's nothing like being trapped. You are a grown-up. Every move you take has a consequence. So are you ready for them? A father should remain a father. The Kenyan law, for instance, however, gives the woman power of custody till the age of 18. You have not met a rich woman who is determined to keep your children from you. Hey. And this is something worth discussing as you gentlemen get to the discussion. We have, thank you for reading my mind. I believe that was about the consequence of getting pregnant and deciding somebody should not be, taking up responsibilities. We have Frida Nguku who says again, respect Gilbert, respect to you, Gilbert. A child needs as a parent, doesn't matter how the child came about. You are responsible. Let's normalize this, and men will be careful before engaging in anything that can sire a child or a baby for that matter. Winnie goes ahead and says, what's your comment on ladies who get pregnant and go missing without informing the man, and then come back later in life to break the news to a man like, hey, breaking news, guess what? We have a baby. I think that's where Brother James says, let's go and confess. But then again, I will be asking those opinions later on. Quickly, Gilbert, before we go to the next ones, can you kindly respond and correlate the clip we just watched about being blocked?
Earlier I said, and I'll still reiterate that to me, support is not paid on money. You know, most of our discussion, most of our disagreement in our society, we look at support in terms of money. That there are women who prefer, they just want money, but they don't want the man to be close to the kid. You ask yourself, what type of a man are you raising? When you are blocking this man, not unless the security of the kid is not assured. Even if I'm bringing 100, appreciate the 100 first and ask for more. The problem, some women don't even appreciate the little. And for men, they have it, but they use the excuse of them being blocked for them not being obligated to do their father roles. I don't think there is anyone who should define to you on why you should be a man, because no one defined to you when you are engaging.
We are not just engaging, and Matasyo, kindly pardon me if we are engaging too much, but let me understand this, Matasyo. Umepigwa block, umekwa block D,
Yeah.
and then baby mama, the one that you don't like talking about, decides that you must pay up the upkeep, because we really want to understand why men will opt not to pay or decide they are not paying because they have been blocked. Because at the end of the day, to have access to the child, and unfortunately, as long as they are underage, most of the time, if not all the time, you need to go through the mother. And then when you block and you're asking for money, Matasyo.
Hey, my friend, I told you, if you got that chance, you yourself as a man, and you made a baby together, you should have known those things will come. You'll be blocked, you'll be insulted, you'll be run away, they run away. You know those things, you know a man, you know, because what I always say, when we attack all these things, they look from the Pan-African point of view. You always, a man, ask yourself, how is the father of these days? How was our father in the ancestral days? How will it be in the future? From your own understanding and consciousness. So you understand? So whether you are blocked, you are done what, those things are not reasons for you not to support someone. I'll tell you now the real point of it all is. You see, I have a problem. I was very angry in the beginning, the way we brought this motion. They are human beings. And the name Deadbeat, I really got angry at it until my friend Opoka mentioned they are also deadbeat mothers. You see,
Then you chilled off.
I relaxed a little bit. You see, we have got just irresponsible human beings, mannerless human beings, or watu wa roho mbaya. Kuna watu wa roho mbaya. Sasa ukianza kuona hata wewe mtu mwenyewe, you have already been connected with somebody who's denying you to see the child for no apparent reason. That's already a deadbeat level of thinking. Sasa wewe kama mwanamume unajua, sasa wewe pia ni deadbeat. You understand? So it also goes, but at the end of the point is that you, whenever that one happens, both of you has broken a contract you agreed on verbally, in a way. So I will point to I will refer to Winnie, a comment from Winnie there. She says, what about those girls who run away and come back? They take the whole pregnancy period and everything, then they come back again. So when we say about defining, that's why I really don't want to hear these things of deadbeat, whatever. Let's just talk about responsibilities of fathers, you understand? Because the one other problem I have with these kind of names, or rather going to the point is, it's very easy to accept a problem, say, what I need to a deadbeat, like in Mr. Chukwa responsibility. So that gives the reason, she made a deadbeat, you see? So that gives a comfortable, so you shift from fighting to take responsibility and focusing on this new term. And that's what the whole community, especially in Kenya, that's what the whole community in Kenya is going through. Every problem in a relationship gets a name. You understand? Somebody becomes irresponsible, they get a name, Kababa, deadbeat, all those things. You see? So at the end of the day, we are not tackling the problems. We are just branding them. Then we just ask, and then you add on saying, Sisi do tuko, my friend. I said we are Africans. Let's think African. We tackle a problem. We don't brand it and then put it on a shelf and say, yeah, you do.
So at the end of the day, we'll be having drinks written Kababa generation.
Yes, unaona sasa. Lakini hatujai solve your problem. Hatujai funza kwa mtu responsible. James, go on.
Ellie,
Sorry.
I want to shift this a bit with all of your permission because it is something that is happening. You find that there is this couple that think, or the man thinks they have been exclusive with the girlfriend, but the girlfriend is having somebody else on the side. Okay. And unfortunately, or fortunately, or whatever you want to call it, they get pregnant by one and tell the other, because he's either financially capable or seems more stable, they tell the other one, you're the father. What happens in this scenario? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Because again...
Ebu fanya hiyo kitu. Remix. Go, friend.
Yeah. No, Ellie. Ellie, I understand what
let James bridge it up. James, kindly put it in perspective because umenichanganya kidogo. You mean amefanyiwa Kanairo? This man has been Kanairo.
Karibu Kanairo.
Yes.
So after being Kanairoed, precisely imekuja.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So what happens in this instance? Because again, remember, I started by saying, and I'm usually very intentional with my wording and messaging. I started by saying, no man will outrightly go out to be a deadbeat. No man will want their child to experience life without their support. And I agree with Gilbert, support is not only financial. Every man will, whether they are capable financially or not, they will have some pride in raising a child. Okay? But we have seen so many instances that create doubt, and I'm connecting this to Winnie, who asked a question about a lady who gets pregnant, goes out there and comes to announce 8 months later, or even after the child has been born. How do you, in that man's mind, a lot of questions will run through. Why was I not informed? If I was to be part of this journey, why was I not informed? How sure am I that this child is mine? Yeah. Again, the expertise to go for DNA and the capital involved is not for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Yeah. Those who are capable. I want to be African man's friend. African man has said he knows very many millionaires. I want to be in that club. Yeah, but not everybody will know even where to get these DNA services. So I want you to envision what goes on in the mind of somebody who is trying to decide whether to come into this child's life or not, whether financially or through whatever kind of support. I would rather we ask ourselves, what is going through this guy's mind?
So in essence,
James,
what you're trying to put out there is a man, and most men probably, like you say, will be ready to take up responsibility. But once the seed of doubt is planted, then the indicators go the other round. Gilbert, is doubt supposed to make you feel like, mimi by this sichezi kama mimi? Or where to uende hata kama umerukwa kipetero kiyohana, you just do it?
Ellie, the reason why you are called a father is because you have the ability to sire. Whether yours or someone else, they're in your custody. What if you married that woman with that kid?
You have done it knowingly. No, you've done it knowingly.
Knowing or unknowing. Knowing or unknowing. Because we put obstacles on what should make us to be father. That's why, to me, I said, money should not be the impetus for us deciding that I'm supporting or not, because there are different ways of support. Even if you're coming to desire to discover later on, you've known this kid like for 10 years and you come to discover after 10 years, this kid is not your biological kid. Ask yourself, psychologically, how will this kid be affected when he or she will feel pulled out from the normal life he or she has been living? That is what you should be asking yourself. Is that kid wrong? No. The situation that happened, the kid was not party to it. You've come to discover later on. That's where I said we have to separate emotions and reality on the ground. Emotionally, I'll feel hurt But to me, I'm like, I've been obligated to this kid. It's like a covenant I made. In development stage, this kid has attached to me. And then you come to tell that kid, now, I'm not your father. From today, what I've been doing to you as a father will not do it. The best way is to guide this kid through the truth. But the truth does not mean that you deassociate yourself from the roles you've been playing as a father. These roles we play as fathers, knowing or unknowing, because if we take that route,
We'll be sending letters of apologies to our audience. But then again, James, Matasyo,
Yeah.
African man, you believe in the raising a child for the community and the world. I suppose those are some of the fundamentals when we are raising up children. And something that Gilbert has mentioned, should it deter us that actually, this ain't my child and therefore from today I've stopped? Should it deter us? Because this is one of the reasons that some fathers will give as reasons why they shouldn't provide.
Okay. Very clear. First of all, straight clean, that should not deter us. It's whatever situation it is, you are both. Imagine you and the mother are captain on a ship, and this ship is having this baby in, and that's life. You understand? And sometimes where you're going opposite direction. So you just have to, whatever the storm brings, as a father, you have to pay. Now, for that, I just want to give the advice. You see, when we call ourselves African people, first of all, we have to understand 3 levels of let's say, reasoning. You see, you have the physical world we live in. You understand? The cars we drive, the clothes we put on, the houses we live in, and everything, Some places there is more, some places there is less. There are kids who have 1 pair of shoes, there are kids who have 20 pairs of shoes, even if they have a deadbeat father, as you can call it. 2 different physical worlds. We come to an intellectual world, how we think, because you get this woman as a way of thinking, this man as a way of thinking. That's an intellectual level you have to sail through to be able to save this kid. Then there is the spiritual world. So as a man, you may fail. That's the advice I give you. You may not be able to play a very good role in the physical world. Don't worry. You have the intellectual world. You have the spiritual world. What can this kid learn, even if it's just being interested in classwork alone? This kid will start to think like you, will start to see life from the intellectual you have. Maybe, and I don't want to judge people, but maybe, both of you are on a different intellectual level. You can see, and that differs. It has nothing to do with good or bad. Then there's the spiritual world. You understand? Yeah, see, as a father, maybe you can see the best you can do is take them to church on a Sunday, and so these 3 worlds, and to be smart, if you play with these 3 worlds, even those deadbeat mothers won't touch you. While they are still trying to touch you in the physical world, you are operating from a spiritual world. You are on a spiritual world. So your kid will never notice any problem, I'm telling you. Yeah? So wewe uko na lane status za kucheza nazo. Let's be clear.
Unacheza kama wewe.
And one child, you understand? But maybe your opponent, maybe even having only one, the physical one. Hapo unaweza shtukia baadaye sasa ambia hiyo pesa ndio ushika bana shika something.
Did African man just say deadbeat done?
The situation is allowing him to.
You are even infecting me with bad words. How can a deadbeat?
You see, Ellie, I agree 112 with African man. I agree completely. The only problem is life is not as straightforward as we would want it to be. And Gilbert has captured it correctly when he says our emotions come into play. Yeah. You see, what we are doing here is we are having an intellectual and logical discourse. What should happen in the ideal world? Now, the problem comes, again, man has an ego. Yeah. And some of us are more self-aware than others. When that ego is hurt in any way, different men will react differently. And we will not always have the ideal. Yeah. And that's why you see, I started again by saying all men would want to take care of their child. But does it happen? Definitely not. And whatever we are saying is not like they don't know. It's not like we men do not know. We understand this, but I'm telling you, once some people, their egos are fractured a bit, all reasoning and logic goes haywire.
Mhm. Great. I'm just getting through the conversations here, and gentlemen, I know you want really to box this topic inside outside, but let's get the conversation going equal in the comment section. I will go back to some of the questions I'm getting here. We have there's quite some conversation happening here. Okay. Let me just start with Odelia. And I was asking the other day when the men's didn't happen. Odelia, thank you. Today is when the men's didn't happen, and thank you for joining us. She says, thanks for addressing these issues, and we are more than passionate to talk about them. We have Nancy Magen, who tells us that not all parents are willfully refusing to support their children financially. A job loss or unforeseen circumstances can change the situation in a second, and that I do agree. Hey, Frida leo amekataa mchezo. Frida, who hurt you like the African man? The DNA or take a DNA test.
We should
on
lock the two in a room.
Yes. Moment. Take a DNA test on the baby, and in case you are the father, take responsibility, period. But again, as we agreed earlier, sometimes it's not just about the biology that comes into play. There is more connection that happens at an emotional level, the physical level, and the spiritual level. So these are things we need to pay attention to as we are saying and deciding that DNA is the way to go. Bottom-up economy. Thank you, Gilbert. Thank you, Gilbert. It's not all about the money. It's not all about the money. And of course, we have Catherine Osita, umepotea sana, who says, thank you, Matasyo. Matasyo, people are liking and loving the way you are making your points today. Very heavy African man points of view. Men's then, it's not about the financial support, but how present you are in the child's life. A lot of people seem to be agreeing with that. Let's see. We have Josh Mufasa watching us on YouTube, and he's saying physical association is key. Pesa ni yangu, tabia ni za wengine. Hiyo is a no, haiwezi. Okay. Okay. Food for thought. Eshuchi Lumumba James, mimi mtoto kama hana hii kichwa yangu kubwa, tunatafuta baba yake. It's not in between. It's either kichwa ni kama yangu, and most of the time asema masikio nitakane hii masikio ni yako kabisa, and you're like sijaiona masikio yangu. But anyway, okay, we have, let me make it a little bit faster. What about the situation where the child is used as blackmail? And we're coming to that later on. We have Brenda Mahuna who says, yes, fatherhood is more than money. And thank you so much for everybody that is streaming us on YouTube. Eunice Mwathi says, I agree with you, Gilbert. Gilbert, you have a lot of support here. And again, let's see. Yeah, Odelia. Let me take this as last one. Instead of blaming women to be trapping men, men can also do family planning. Matasyo, you're amazing.
You see, this family planning for men is a whole new topic on its own. Probably that we need to tackle it at one point. That's a debate that divides just down the middle. That family planning for men, it's deeper.
Should we just say, let's stop all this drama of baby mama, baby daddy? We go vasectomy, but I'm not advocating for it unless you have a child. Let's take this, gentlemen. Let's take this.
It's different depending on the circumstances that cause the separation and the terms of agreement between the two parties, but it's within the responsibility of a man, because this is a product of two people, to give support to his kid in any way possible. But in the case that child has gone to another family and they are comfortable to cover the expenses, it's okay for me to provide less because they are already working around it. But I will not like, you are held accountable for what your kid, regardless of where they are. But it's not like a must if they are able to be taken care of wherever they are.
Well, gentlemen, the basic standard of argument here is all about the money. It's about the money. And you guys can run away from it as much as you want, but they're saying if they are comfortable wherever they are, mimi ni nani? Kana mtoto.
What, Ellie? From which point are we defining comfortability here? Let's bring money down, and we realize that if we do, ask these ladies here, most of them, the money is not the problem. The problem is you being in the life of this kid fully. And you won't be in this kid's life minus the money aspect. You'll utapeleka mtoto out and fail to spend. You won't take this kid to church naked. You won't take them to school and you are not paying school fees. So the full aspect of being a father is very important than just us taking one aspect of the money and trying to make to call people deadbeats. Matasyo has said no. So Matasyo will put it in quotes, deadbeat, because they cannot be there, they cannot be present financially. We should demand that someone is in a kid's life wholesomely, so that you are a father because you are present, nothing more. The aspect of money will be calculated in other spheres, but your presence is very important. And as I said, if you are present, your money will also be present. You can't be present and your money is somewhere else. Not unless wewe uliwacha pia pesa na ukakuja hauna pia unataka support.
So you're looking for husband support?
It's an interesting angle, a perspective to look at that Gilbert brings about, which again I agree. If you're present, yourself, you're present, the money will follow, the financial angle will follow. But then again, and today I've decided I will speak for those who do not have a voice, because everybody has decided to gang up. We can't negate the fact that there are women who are very toxic. They will look at the financial angle before they look at your presence. And they will look at the whole matrix, the whole relationship, from the angle of how much are you bringing on the table. Show me the money, I show you your child. Yeah, we can't run away from this. It is world over. You started by asking us, what happens if you send support and then your person is anapepea Mombasa? Yeah, and it happens. And somebody asked, how do you know she's not earned it? But if 2 days before you sent the support, alikuwa hajajipaka mafuta na hajaoga vizuri, and then after support you see her all over Instagram anakipepea Mombasa, definitely you don't need rocket science. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to know that it is your money. And these are some of the things that hurt men. And again, remember, we will not run away from the fact that men, we have very fragile egos. We can want to seem all macho and all in charge and everything, but our egos are so fragile that if you're not very, very emotionally intelligent and self-aware, the slightest, especially when you think that there is the slightest slight or madharau from a woman, the hit back for men will be financial. The only way to fight back will be financial. And again, listen to those men who we've listened to their clips. They all start by saying, a man should. And that's what I said at the start of the show. No man will say, no, I can't. It is always, I should. And then they put the caveat. Yeah. So the question, the big question here is, how do we avoid these buts? A man should but. A man should, if we were all emotionally very mature, both man and women, if we were mature, we would understand that the man might not have the 6,000 pounds that the woman wants. The woman would know that at times just the presence is enough and would work out something amicable. The problem comes in when one part is not mature enough to understand the matrix and the damage to the child.
James and the rest of the gentlemen on site. Yes, Gilbert.
Ellie, can I ask a question to James? How do you know before you sent money they were not in a position?
Because the previous night they were telling you to
are you doing investigation before you send money? Have you become a CID officer? That's where the problem comes, Sally, that you want to audit the money you're giving. But does it happen? I gave out 50,000 Kenya shillings. I want to see my kids looking like 50,000.
You know what?
No, but on a serious note, just a minute. On a serious,
James,
Gilbert,
James,
just 1 minute.
Why I said, okay.
I know, just to follow up on what you're saying, I know families who have separated, and this is factual. It's not hypothetical. It's factual. But the lady is so irresponsible that the man has provided severally enough upkeep, but the child does not get the basic needs. What the man has ended up doing is they actually pay to the service provider. If it is school, I do not give this woman the money for school, I pay to the school. If it is healthcare, I pay the insurance. Yeah. So it is not, and yes, you will audit the money. If you have an interest in this child, yeah, you will want to know, I gave out this amount. Did it go to fulfilling what its intended purpose? So unfortunately, the auditing will be there. We might want to run away from it, but it will be there.
Great that you've said that, and Gilbert, you've mentioned it. I want to throw in the African man with his experience in here in Europe, because African man, fair enough, as you said, we be told.
You tell him to breathe fast. Tell him to breathe fast.
Be proud, isn't it?
You that's what I was just writing on the notes here. I was just writing that one here now as you speak.
Okay. Let me make my point, sir. Let me make my point. At the end of the day, this is money involved, and let's run from everything else. Now let's go back to the money effect, because that's the finances. You will not raise children with stones, unfortunately. When the money comes into play, as you say, are you auditing what you had sent? Yes, I believe so, because the systems that we have here, if you come from school and you say this child requires to pay this amount of money for this service at school, you actually have to give proof of what needs to be paid for. Otherwise, they will not pay up, and they have the rights not to. African man, do you think it has come to a level that actually we need to demand those kind of things from our spouses or ex-spouses if we are supposed to be involved as men financially?
First of all, on a very personal note, both in the physical world, intellectual world, and the spiritual world, it is stupid to pay for something that you don't know. First of all, it's stupid. Because, and I say it's stupid because it's just stupid, to be honest.
Tell you today we are in school.
Now, the first thing is, first of all, you have to look at the communication. You know very well you have a child together with a woman, or whether you are even living together. You know, let's not talk about fathers who are absent as deadbeat. They're even the ones who are living in that house. You're in that house the same. This man pays nothing. Ata socks unamnunulia. Na ako tu. So the whole idea is, first you must have a situation where you can understand what you're paying for, because you're just talking about money alone. You understand? Because, you know, when we talk about money, na pengine we unaishi kungine, wanaishi kungine. So there are a lot of things, but you just want to focus on money alone. It is stupid to pay for something you don't know. Don't do it. And it is also stupid to pay for something you have not thought about it before and discussed about it. Even I tell women or men, you see, okay, Sawa. For example, even if you're genuine enough, you say, okay, I'm living with a child. He's going to go to school. He's going to have his book, everything. You sit and decide, okay, what does the child cost just before you two, first of all? Even me, I can tell you, no, don't bring my child to a cheap school. I better pay a little bit more, bring him to a better school. So and then that's what also men have to remember, because this upkeep means it has to bring some results. So you are keeping up this child because you have some results expecting. You're not keeping up because you want somebody to go and end up in jail. If you know you'll keep up, you'll have upkeep up to 18 years, and then this guy goes to jail for another 50 years. If you knew that would happen, would you even pay it? So you see, we have to also take the pride of the father, because you are proud, you are happy, you have a child somewhere, and whether you're in a bar, you're talking, my son, he's doing what? Oh, he's sports. So you know that is, and as you say it, is how it will emancipate itself. So at that moment, you're also proud. You're proud of your child. You praise everything. He goes to sports. You're very happy with his sports, and he'll become a sportsman for sure, because you know he's going to sports. But so for me, it is stupid to pay for what you don't know in any situation, be it raising a child or buying a goat. Simple. Second,
You know what? Let's just get this. Let's get this, gentlemen, as our last one before we quickly go to the comment section and call it a night.
I think both parents, both the father and the mother, are obliged to take care of the baby financially, emotionally, and all that. So yes, men should take part in all that 100% that is needed. I actually advocate for a 50-50, but then there's always an understanding. Most people argue and not discuss. We should sit down, have a discussion. This is what I can get. This is what you can get. I'm pretty sure when you put those two things together, those two things that different mother and father can do or can get, it will be a whole. It will become a whole solution.
Well, as we pay up costs and other things, there's something that this lady has brought out very eloquently, that most people do argue instead of getting to an understanding. And is it time we actually set aside our personal feelings and disagreements and actually get to focus on the child? I'll give each one a 30-second response. Let's start with you, James.
Take home lesson: it is stupid to pay for what you don't know, may it be upkeep or a goat. I agree with African man 100%. Number two, I like what that lady says. I like what she says. A lot of wisdom right there. Most people bring in their personal issues. They do not talk. They are arguing. And the child ends up losing. My parting shot: both parties need to take responsibility. It doesn't have to be financial. If people can only agree to sit down and talk, it would be for the benefit of the child. That 100 bob that probably the man is able to bring on the table, you didn't have it before. Yeah. So if we only could talk and keep our emotions and our egos aside, for the sake of the child, we would see less of deadbeats.
Gilbert.
Any relationship we engage in, whether marriage or supporting this kid, is not about division, it's about complement. If you'd want what you are paying for, in quotes, to be accounted the way you want, you will have remained there and be the husband. When you left, things changed. You will not control what will happen there. Sorry for that. You are paying for support. Paying for support. You are not paying for what you would want to see. Why run away and demand accountability on the other side? So if you needed things to be the way you wanted, remain there and be a man who will take charge what happens there. If it never worked and you stepped away, expect to have, you will offer support and it might not turn out the right way. And that's why I said it's not about the money, it's about your presence. Because if you pay and you're not present, you cannot control the outcome. But if you are present, your money will follow you. My take home, let us be present and let our money act when you are present.
Fair enough. Fair enough. African man, your last word, please. If you can get your microphone, sir.
Yeah, because you decided to limit this thing of raising a child on money, I will tell you the money plays only 5% of the role that the child really needs. If you look in the three worlds, you understand? So arguing about money and everything, that one, no, you are fighting about something that's only 5% of what that child needs. Only 5%. You still have 95 in the intellectual, physical, whatever world. And for the women and the men, it is stupid to do a business and have money exchanging hands without actually knowing what it is for. Because even you, a woman, it's stupid to start to ask a man to give you money for the child when you even don't know what you're going to do with this money for the child. It's stupid for both of you. That's very stupid. Don't be involved in it. And this stupidity should begin when you are in fact courting and making babies. You already think about what kind of child, even if you are dreaming that time, dream smart. You understand? Dream in a smart way that even if you separate, this woman, but that guy wanted this child to be a doctor. So he has, I'm thinking of a doctor's material, yeah? What I also want to say, it's like, absentia, understand, a father try as much as possible to be present physically. You're talking about the physical world. Physically, you have to be there, also. So this child cannot also just, even if you send everything, this child cannot just have an imaginary father with all the cars and what he wants. So the personal physical presence is very important. And these days, you have this social media. You can, when you really can't be there physically close because you two have a problem or families have a problem, those things happen. And situations like that, we cannot link them to calling others deadbeat and stuff like that. So, men, cheza na hizo line tatu, 3 lines: physical, intellectual, spiritual, to support your kid. Okay? Don't pay for something you don't know what it is. It's stupid. Don't do it.
Man, you have heard it from the African man himself, and of course Mbaba all the way Nairobi, Kenya. Not forgetting Gilbert Makomere. And let me just give a quick shout out and quickly read through the messages that are coming in. We couldn't keep up with all of them, but again, we have Odelia who says, instead of blaming women to be trapping men can also do family planning. Matasyo, you're an amazing man. Thank you so much. Frida Nguku earlier on said it is all Eli. Being a father, it's all round, financially, emotionally, physically. I mean, it all around. I mean, let's see, Wakeji Kamore, who tells me, unfortunately, financial support has become the ticket that mothers use to determine if the fathers should see the children. And this stops the fathers from offering intellectually or spiritually the support they're supposed to be giving. Anastasia, on the other hand, says hello to you, Anastasia. Catherine Usita says, Gilbert, please pewa soda kubwa kwa beli yangu. Okay, Gilbert, you are sorted for the rest of your day because it's afternoon and it must be very warm in Oklahoma. Also, how about fathers who offer financial support only, but will never take time to be emotionally supportive or to be present to the kid's life? Are these deadbeats as well? Ama deadbeat ni wale hawana pesa. And these are things we've actually digested all through. And thank you so much for Wakeji for bringing them in your comments. Thalmas says, story yangu as you should groom me about the decision I'm about to make. Okay, fine. I think they're having a side chat on the other hand. Let's just get somebody that I didn't get to mention them tonight. Quickly with Godi Segero says, ask if a woman leaves a child, and I would like for us to refer it to as a child. Atuongelee watoto wa mbuzi, which are kids. So let's restrain to child. For the dad to raise, should the woman also send child support to the men? because it is supposed to be a co-parenting. Deadbeat moms. Wewe umezalisha, ukazaliana, alafu umetorokuo. It's all right. And Jakita says, if you can trust the ex-spouse and know she or he is responsible, you won't ask about where goes the upkeep. But there are so many that use those upkeeps for so many things except the child, that they must know where your money goes. Then that means you must know where your money goes. I suppose that's what she meant. And of course, closing it down is Eshuchi Lumumba, who tells us, nice show, folks. Well done. And thank you so much, everybody that came through the night and made this conversation worth it. I know we've had an extension of 6 minutes. Next time we'll reduce it to 54 minutes. Then we have a balance. Okay. So see you next week as we pursue this conversation. Remember, tomorrow night we have the Girls Talk every single Wednesday. And they're talking about the African mom. So what kind of a mom did you have? Find out as the girls come and return with the blazing guns, talking about the African moms, not forgetting Mama Mora will be showing in that particular show. So see you next time. Have a blessed night, and let's do it again. Good night.